like that. And so through that nonprofit, we were getting, I have about 30 employer partners who constantly call every day. I just got off the phone with 3 of them this morning since 7. I need cooks, I need construction workers, I need this, I need that. Can you send me some of your people? And so it kind of turned into an unofficial recruiter at some point. And then in the work that we were doing, where we assist people with job readiness trainings. And at this time, I was unemployed myself. I was homeless, living in a shelter, but I started this nonprofit to help other folks find a job. And I couldn't find a job. And I had 2 master's degrees, was working on a doctor, but I couldn't get a job because of my felony. And so I decided to start saying, I'm going to turn to entrepreneurship. And as I started educating myself on entrepreneurship, we started, facilitating entrepreneur readiness classes into our trainings. And from that came, well, Walisha, if I'm helping everybody else and telling them what to do, I need to do it myself. And so that's how it kind of spun out of me starting Phoenix Recruiting, which was, out of the ashes, becoming successful and doing stuff. So with the services that I do is 2 divisions. One of it is recruiting side of it, where even though because of the recruiting and because it's now a business, where in my nonprofit, I only work with people with criminal records. But because it's in my business, I open that up to employers who need people to be hired, record or not. But of course, most of them, half of them at least, will tell me, well, we'll hire whoever you base, who you refer. So most of the times, I always open that up to folks with records first. And it gives me an opportunity for employers that'll say, well, can you do the interview? And I don't charge for any of this on my nonprofit end. But when it comes to them saying, we want you to do this or recruit, a lot of times I'm able to negotiate and say, I'd be doing this if you'd be willing to not do a background check. Or if you won't weigh so heavily on a background check and look really focused on people's skills. So part of that is working with employers to get folks employed. The second division is the actual business services side of it, which I tend to do more of. And with that, I do everything from helping you start up your LLC. I used to write grants, but it's just become too tedious for folks. I mean, for me, it's just too time consuming. So I help people start their LLCs. I help you start your 501, your nonprofits, and work with people and talk to them about the different types of business structures that's best for them. Some people love being a sole proprietor. However, I'm not particularly fond of being a sole proprietor because of liability issues. And so I try to talk to them and going to take a little further. It's only an extra $125 to make yourself legitimate with the state with an LLC. So I talk to them from everything as a business consultant, from the type of business structure that's best for them, how they're going to be filing those taxes, whether on their own personal taxes. And they say, I don't want to do that. I want it to be filing its own taxes. Then I let them know LLC is not for them, because technically a LLC is a pass-through entity, which you're going to be reporting on yourself. And so I kind of give them the basics of which is best for them. And once they go to the point where I help them with the LLC, if they don't want to be their own registered agent, they're welcome to use my business address and I'll be the registered agent, where I send them the notices. And a lot of times when people are busy, they don't see the importance of having a registered agent, because a lot of times when you're so busy, you do miss your emails and you miss notices, which is why half the folks now are scrambling because they have been ignoring the notices from the state. And several have gotten notices saying you haven't paid, so your business is now terminated. So they've gone from having to pay a $50 LLC registration fee to now having to pay $250 to have their business reinstated. So I do that end of it as well. And then when people say, okay, now my business is started, what do I do now? I want a website. And I create a website for them through the Ionis profile, through the Ionis platform. And Ionis only charges $5 a month for your website. So I go in and I set everything up for them. Some folks don't feel like monitoring their thing. They'll say, I'm having an event. Can you post the pictures or put the flyers or something on my website? So I also do the managing of your website. I've helped folks with their logos, and I talk to folks about their different marketing. You'd be amazed how many people go into business and say, I just want to have a business, but I don't want a Facebook page. I don't want a Twitter or Instagram. So I'm like, what's the purpose of having a business? So I talk to them about how to get out there and be more visual. I'll create their social media pages for them. Talk to them about the difference in having extremely long emails, which is where I messed up, but I ain't gonna change it now. But noticing that when you come up with your business name, the aesthetic of where your business name has to go. It has to go on business cards. It has to go on flyers. But one of the biggest things, it's on your email and it's on your website. So you want to make sure that everything that you're doing is related to your business. Also, I talk to a lot of them as far as business consulting about keeping their business profiles and their personal profiles separate. Certain things that you're putting on your personal page should not be on your business page, because people tend to say, oh, it says she's a business owner. And they go to your business page and, you got you at the club dance. It's just certain things that helps you into being more of a business owner. And a lot of times I am talking from the perspective of another formerly incarcerated person to another formerly incarcerated person, that you have a lot of stuff already stacked against you, where people are already figuring you're not going to succeed. And you don't want to put obstacles in your own way for people to feel like these are things that you may not be doing. That's professional. That's not ethically what you should be doing. So it entails with a lot of different things. I also do trainings. Some employers will call and say, I just did a board orientation for a church last year. And so I do those type of things, board orientation. Once you do get your nonprofit, you want your orientation done. I do board orientations. I facilitate staff and volunteer trainings. Anything that you need that encompasses your business. Um, I help you as much as I can. If it's something that I can, I'll say, look, you want this type of website where you got all these graphics and that kind of stuff. That's not something I'm in, but I got somebody else who I can show you to. But most of the stuff from the beginning to the end, from starting your business, how to help it grow. If you need monthly consultations on certain things, that's where I'm in at on that.
Very impressive. And I know everyone who's probably listening to you was like, wow, she does everything. But you mean, that's what you have to do. Once you learn something, you get excited about it. All of a sudden, it's about that passion.
Yes.
And I can certainly hear, I'm going to get started now, but I can certainly hear the passion in your voice, not necessarily just about what you do, but why and who you do it for.
Yes,
right?
I love it. And I'm going to be I've had 3 requests in the last couple of weeks. I did an LLC training last year for Project Restart. And it was about 2.5 hours of how to start your LLC. And several people, I guess they may have told folks about it and said, when are you going to do one? And I just never done a paid training. I do whatever to help other folks move up. And so I was thinking about actually maybe getting one done, maybe come June, because I do have a full-time job with the Southern Center for Human Rights. I do my nonprofit, I do my activism work. So I wear a lot of hats, and I'm trying to start a second business. So I do have a lot, but
a second business sound like a third or fourth business to me.
Yes, I'm trying to really, I really want to get me an e-commerce store as well. And I had a conversation with, I don't know if you know of her or not, but Alyssa Milano. She does a podcast called Sorry Not Sorry. Yeah, she's an actress that was on Charmed, and she and I are friends, and we wrote an article. She reached out to me last year, and we did an op-ed together about the sex strike that was going on in Georgia. And so we did an op-ed together, and she ended up calling me last week, and she said, well, Alicia, I want to have you on Sorry Not Sorry to talk about the issues of what's going on with, mass incarceration and all these things going on. And I really think I really want to connect with you, with folks who are kind of doing that kind of work. So now the goal is to try to connect people with her who want to really kind of get into that, because she wants to do more of how she can be a mentor to other people. And I think she thinks that maybe, the platforms of getting podcasts and things like that is the way to go. And so she's given me a task to try to work on something in the next couple of months. And so that is one of my biggest endeavors. And so I'm hoping that would work out really well with what's going on. So I'll keep you informed of that.
Please do. Please do. And I appreciate all of your sharing. And, again, if you hadn't already done so, put your information in the chat. I think everyone would love to reach out to you and see how at the point that they're looking to get their business started, that they can see how you can be able to be helpful to them. Okay. So thank you so much for sharing. And I think that I'm going to reach out to you as well as the fraternity. As my chapter, we're looking to develop our own 501(c).
Okay.
And since I don't do that all the time, I want to give you some business. I'll see about reaching out to you and see if you can help us. Okay.
All right. Sure will.
Good deal. Rob Hassel, I saw you. You pop in, brother. How are you?
Oh, excellent. How are you, good brother Steve?
Excellent, excellent. I appreciate you joining us, and I'm glad Carlton was able to send out the updated link since the other one wasn't working. I think I expected to have about.
When I did, look, right at the right time. Look, Miss Jen, thank you so much for. Look, I caught the tail end of your presentation, but even thank you for clarifying the difference between sole proprietorship and LLC. Because for the longest time, I've just been like, what? Look, my business is my business, right? There's a difference. So thank you.
Yeah, there's a wealth of information, and I'm glad Walisha was able to share that, and I'm sure she got a lot more that she could share.
Yes.
With you. So make sure that if she put her information out there in the chat,
especially about how you pay yourself. That has
Yeah.
been some of my biggest questions about how to pay yourself. And people think it's your business, you can just go get money out of it.
Yeah.
You technically can, but you really shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. So we're gonna get started now because and this is a recorded session, Rob, so you can catch Walisha's initial statements when I send out the recording. And also those that may not be able to make it because of the Zoom issue, I'm sure they email me later, and I'll make sure that they get this recording as well. And so all of you. So again, thank you all for joining. We're going to be talking about exploring entrepreneurship, particularly in the era of COVID. And I'm sure Walisha could tell you about how many businesses out there that probably are not doing as well because of the type of business they're in, and because of how COVID has impacted so many people. So this Exploring Entrepreneurship presentation has been given many times over the years, but we had to update it because of COVID. Make sure people can understand how you need to really prepare yourselves as you're thinking through your business idea. And COVID is going to be here for a long time in terms of how people have to interact with one another, whether you get a vaccine or not. So we need to make sure that how your business can be conducted in this era. So that's why we're doing this. I want to thank the Edge Connection. If those that on the line that have never heard of them before, the Edge stands for Empowering and Developing Georgia's Entrepreneurs. They are a women's business center. They are the ones who really I connected with many years ago to provide business consulting with them to women. They actually, about 60% of their clients are women, which means that 40% are men or so. But they have a lot more women clients because they are a women's business center, and they get funded partially through the SBA to specifically attract women, potential business owners. They provide free services. For the most part, there are some things that they do charge for, very minimal. But I want to make sure that you all Google the Edge, or go to the edgeconnection.com, and you can bring their information up and become a member of the Edge Connection. So they are doing this in partnership with my fraternity's chapter, Sigma Delta Sigma, Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. And we have a goal of making sure that everyone who wants to be in business learn the ins and outs about business and about preparing for that. So that's pretty much what this conversation is going to be about preparing before you become an entrepreneur. What are the things that you need to understand about the interests that you have? I'm going to get through this pretty quickly since some of the time had to be cut because of the snafu this morning. But this slide just talks about entrepreneurship. For those of us who have been an entrepreneur before or know others, family members, it certainly is like living a few years of your life like most people won't. All the sacrifices and everything that you have to do is really living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. So like Jada, I believe, was looking to start an ebook, and Chris, I think you're looking to do trucking and do a podcast, and Walisha is running multiple businesses and about to start an online business, retail business. Just to start, a part of it is a lot of sacrifices, a lot of research. What should I do? How should I do it? How should the website look? How am I going to attract the people who I'm looking to attract? That's a lot of sacrifices. And there's a lot of people who are not willing necessarily to do those sacrifices. But after those sacrifices are done, you certainly, the goal is for you to have what I call liberty. It's not just about having money, but it's being able to do what you want to do when you want to do it. That's called liberty, right? And so at some point, your goal or our goal for entrepreneurs is to be able to spend your life, the rest of your life. Unfortunately, like most people can't, because they wouldn't not necessarily looking to do the type of sacrifices that you were able to do. The other thing about entrepreneurship I like to point out is that it can be treated like a job, but real entrepreneurship really isn't a job. I look at a job, and most of us look at a job as is providing hours for dollars, right? I'm going to work an 8-hour shift, and they're going to pay me, $10, $15, $20 an hour for each one of those hours in that 8-hour shift. So that's just a job. Most cases, real entrepreneurship, there is no time limit. There's no a set 8 hours. You might be at a restaurant eating food, thinking about your, plans that you're gonna do in your business. You might be getting ready to go to bed and you just can't really sleep because you're thinking about things you got to do the next day, or things that hadn't been done, or things that need to be done, right? Or what haven't I thought of? So it's really hard to shut it off. Entrepreneurship is really a mindset. You either is or you're not in most cases, right? So a part of that mindset is, I think, something that Walisha mentioned before, is about that passion. Or I might have mentioned it regarding seeing how Walisha was talking about her businesses and all of her tasks and responsibilities. You can see that it is a passion. And if it feels like a job, then you need to do something else. Otherwise, at some point, you're going to leave it. So entrepreneurship isn't a job. It really is a mindset, right? So, and by the way, if you are not on mute, go ahead and put yourself on mute just in case somebody comes in and talks and you don't know we can hear them. And then when you're ready to talk, you want to cut me off or ask a question, you can say, "Hey, Steve, I got a question." And I don't have a problem with that, since we don't have a whole lot of folks online. So what will this workshop do for you? What will it do for you? It's called Exploring Entrepreneurship. So to explore, we want to first make sure that the idea that you have, or the business that you've been trying to get lifted off the ground, that the feasibility of it is sound. So before anyone does a business plan, you really should do a feasibility study. So a big chunk of this presentation is really about, in the heart of it, is doing a feasibility study. What is it that I want to do? Who do I want to do it for? Who is my customers? What's my cost? All that research. All right, so we're exploring the idea of being an entrepreneur. So these are some of the topics, some of the areas that we're gonna address to make sure that you understand what it really means to be an entrepreneur. How do I do a feasibility study? How do I articulate the areas if I want to do a business plan? And there's something called a business canvas we're going to get into a little bit later. But it really helps you focus inputting the information into the questions on areas of your feasibility of moving forward with an idea. So what is entrepreneurship? We're going to cover that. Evaluating your goals. Super important that you actually have goals. Feasibility study versus a business plan. The business canvas. Role of the business owner. Do you have what it takes? Excuse me. Do you have what it takes? Starting a business during COVID-19, we're going to talk about that. Navigating the new normal. What is the new normal? Right? How do we interact with our customers? Thriving businesses during COVID-19. Oh my, excuse me for a second. I don't know why I got a cough. And so there are businesses that are thriving during COVID-19. What are those types of businesses? Why are they thriving? Is one of those businesses examples something that I have an interest in? And the final is going to be the financial feasibility. I'm going to see if I can run a quick video, maybe a 3-minute, 4-minute video on how do you get financing, particularly we address particularly in the area again of COVID-19. So getting started, again, some of these things that you already know, some of you guys are going to have an aha moment. Aha, I didn't know that. So there's different ways that you can look at entrepreneurship: to organize, manage, and assume the risk or risks of a business. That is entrepreneurship. Putting it together, managing it, knowing that there are risks involved, risk of losing money, time. The practice of starting new organizations, particularly new businesses, generally in response to identified opportunities. So COVID-19 provided some new opportunities for people who make masks, right? People were making masks before COVID-19 for different reasons. But now people are starting businesses specifically for masks or for swabs, for people swabbing mouth, swabbing your nose for testing purposes. But it's the practice of starting a new organization in response to an identified opportunity. It doesn't have to be COVID-19. It could be something else that's going on in the world that you found that there's a need for. A lot more people are buying online. What's the opportunity that can be identified supporting that? Is it creating websites for people so they can easily find items online, making sure that people know how to leverage ways for people can purchase online in a trustworthy way, opposed to them having their identification stolen and credit cards fraud and whatnot. So again, that's entrepreneurship. Creating and innovating to build something of recognized value around perceived opportunities. There's a lot of technology going on right now. A lot of people are building something that somebody's going to value. That's entrepreneurship. The pursuit of an opportunity without regard to resources currently controlled. So some of us don't have money. We don't have all the money, but we have an idea. We think there's an opportunity out there. So we're going to pursue it. We're going to build it. We're going to describe it so that we might be able to present it to a lender or an investor. But we have to pursue it first. That's entrepreneurship. The leveraging of one's tags. And I always like to give my friend Ryan Jones the credit for this acronym: TAGS: talent, abilities, gifts, and skills. We all have them. We all have worked at companies, or we inherited an interest from our parents or our families that know how to do something very well. We have God-gifted talent. We have interests. And they all make up our tags, and we have to leverage our tags in any type of entrepreneurship venture. Leverage our experiences. There's a reason why we got them. So that's some definitions of entrepreneurship that I wanted to highlight. So why do we go into business? Why do most of us go into business? Well, whether we thought about it or not, is really about our goals. See, I like to do an acronym. I mean, not acronym, but I like to do an example of when we decide on getting a job. A lot of times, we try to get a job in areas that we have an interest. I like food, I might get a job at a restaurant. If I like technology, I might get a job working in a company doing some type of IT work. You just get my foot in the door. If I want to be a doctor, want to go into medicine, be a nurse or what have you, I might have tried to get a job working, somewhere in a hospital, just get me in the hospital, just get me in that environment. Well, that might have been a part of our goal. Sometimes it's about economics. I want to make a certain amount of money. We may not say it's our goal, but how we behave and how we think through it, it really is. And so some of us who may be working have decided, I want a side business. I can't stop my current job because I need to, I got bills, I got expenses, I got things that I want to do. But I know that this job that I'm working is not my future. So I need to actually start looking at replacing, either increasing my income, working to replace my income, or maybe I want to supplement my income through some type of gig or some type of entrepreneurial platform, vehicle. So those might be some economical goals because it's dealing with finances, increasing. I might be making $60,000 a year in my job, or $40,000 a year in my job, or $80,000 a year in my job, but I want to make more for whatever reasons. And so I might start a side business. I did that. I was working as a security regional director when I first came to Atlanta, and I started an import-export business on the side. I traveled a lot, which I still do, but I traveled a lot for the company. I go to the hotel, I get on the computer and I do some trades, right? But I wasn't doing it as a real reason to leave my company because I was really spoiled. I really loved what I was doing. I was being paid pretty good. But what I wasn't thinking at the time was that company can let me go at 80 point and I won't have any security, which is what they did. Thank goodness I actually started that business and I end up, really concentrating it and making it boom. But at the time, I just wanted supplemental income. I just wanted some additional income. It was just an economic goal. What is yours? Do you have any economic goals? Do you want to increase your income? Do you want to replace it? Do you want to simply just supplement whatever you got coming in? Maybe entrepreneurship is the reason why you want to do one of those things. Some of us have personal goals in addition to or outside of economic goals. Maybe we want to leave our company, or maybe we want to retire to do what we really like. And that vehicle to do that might be entrepreneurship. So I might want more freedom. As I mentioned earlier, it might be liberty. Maybe I want more flexibility. Maybe I want a sense of security that nobody can fire me like I got fired, right? From security, not really fired, but they moved my position and my task under a different responsibility. And so I had to move to a different role and I didn't want to, so I left. But it was most of us make personal decisions on going to entrepreneurship because something that we just want to do, something we like to do. It's not something we're forced to do. Some of us go into entrepreneurship because of retirement. We want to do something else. We may or may not need the extra money, but we want to have our hand in something. Maybe we want to make a difference. But all of these are goals. What are yours? What are your economic goals? What are your personal goals? What are your retirement goals? What are your short-term and long-term goals? Evaluating your goals will help you determine if you should go into entrepreneurship, and if so, what? Once you decide that what, we then want to start moving toward whether or not is it something feasible. That moves me to the next slide. Is what I want to do feasible? And whoever Joyce is joining us, thank you, welcome. Please put yourself on mute if you need to ask a question. Just come off mute and stop me. I don't have a problem with you stopping me and answering your question. So the difference between feasibility study and a business plan. Some people have talked about doing a business plan on a napkin. They had an idea and they just did their business plan. Well, how do you know that business plan is even feasible, that it can actually be implemented with success? We can start anybody's business. We can go to Walisha and say, hey, what did you help me create an LLC? And here's the $250 to get it started or whatever. And she would do that all day because that's her business. But once I get that LLC or C Corp or whatever listed or registered, How do I know that business is going to be successful? We may not know if we really haven't done our background research. So the feasibility study talks about the potential profitability of a venture. It asks you, what are you selling? What are you selling? What are the benefits? Not the features. What are the benefits of what you're selling? Okay, maybe I want to be a caterer. I'm selling catering services. What are the benefits? The benefits may not necessarily be the food that I'm going to eat. The benefit might be the convenience that I don't have to cook the food, the convenience that it might be brought to me, right? So I'm selling the benefits to my potential customers. The benefits might be that it's the way it's cooked a certain way, right? It's not fried like McDonald's, is broiled like Burger King does their burgers, right? Or maybe it's vegetarian or some particular health benefit that I'm going to discuss. But what are the real benefits that the customer is going to realize? How do your product service differ from a competitor's offering? Maybe I'm a caterer and your food will be hot, it would be fresh. It's not going to be something that was frozen and then just warmed up, put in the microwave and given to you. So what are my competitors? What's my difference, my differentiation that I can promote? And it's a good reason why the feasibility of this idea would be something that it would be looked at as valuable. Why will people buy from you? Because people are going to be buying catering services, but why are they going to buy it from you? How are you going to differentiate yourself not only from food services companies, but other people that do what you do? What are the product prices that you can highlight that makes you a valuable service? So the feasibility study helps you think through these things. And sometimes it can be easy if you're saying, man, I want to start a business, I got an idea, and you get excited about the idea that you just thought about. At that point, people should write because your mind is sparked. Because if I come and ask you out of the blue, what business do you want to start and why should I choose you? We don't want you hemming and hawing and tap dancing. We want you to know. And for those people that are really ambitious, that really are passionate, that's a no-brainer. It's very easy. I can talk about it all day. Why I want to do what I want to do. Smile. I'm not nervous about it. But doing that feasibility study helps you think through these things. It's different than a business plan. A business plan talks about how you choose to implement your idea, how you choose to implement it, not about whether or not it will be potentially profitable. Okay. So again, starting a business, is it feasible? The question here asks, to start a business, what is the only essential ingredient? Anybody want to pop in and look at those answers and tell me what you think? Starting a business, what is the only essential ingredient out of these 4 items?
I think first you need to know, like
A, B, C, or D. Just give me A, B, C, or D.
C.
C? I agree. All of you have an idea. Well, you may not have money. You may or may not have money, but you got an idea, right? And one of the statements about being an entrepreneur talked about pursuing an idea, whether you have resources or not. I have an idea, but I don't have the product in my hand. I want to be a masseuse, but maybe I got to go through a training class, right? So I can't do the service because I'm not actually licensed to be a masseuse. But it doesn't mean that that I can't pursue it. I don't have the products that I want to sell. But I can go to entrepreneurship. I don't have it. I got management skills. I've ran businesses, but I have never started one, but I got management skills. But I may not even need it because I can learn it. I can get it later. The only essential ingredient that we all need is customers. Otherwise, what's the point? Even if I have a nonprofit, I still need customers. I need somebody who I'm going to give these clothes to. I need somebody who's going to give these food to. I need somebody I'm going to give these services to. I need people. People make the difference. I may not have money. I may not have the product or have the ability to do the service right now. And I may not have the management skills. But what I do need is customers. So this is what we call a business feasibility canvas. And it's, for most of us, we're kind of visual learners. When we see it, it just, not everybody. Some people are there's different types of learning styles. But most of us are visual learners, particularly entrepreneurs. So we put together this little business canvas that say, hey, we need for you to write some information about your business idea. So the business canvas can help us describe the opportunity before we do a business plan. So, and I'm going to show you that business canvas again one more time in a second, but just to highlight this, as you can see this, you may think you want to design jewelry. Design jewelry that you want to see on a runway model. But your trial and error only results in local sales. I'm designing jewelry. I might be at a pop shop somewhere. Or I might be at a swap meet, market, outlet mall, kiosk. And the people that are wearing it, I might be still making some money. But the people that's wearing it is really not the people that I envisioned wearing it. I want folks who might be, on the award shows or modeling shows, because maybe I want Macy's or Dillard's or Saks Fifth Avenue to actually sell my items. And the only way they can sell them, they need to see them on some type of runway. That's my vision. So my business canvas can help me put my idea, my vision on paper so I can actually see it. And it can help me start working towards how I want to arrange my business. So when we look at the business feasibility canvas, we're going to talk about the customer. Who are they? Is my customer individual or is my customer a business? For a few of you have been through some of my classes. I think Alicia is one of them that went through my class, business plan class. And we talked about, as an example, a fictitious business that was selling Microsoft training, where this business will come to a person and they would teach them about Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Access, Excel, right? So they can learn the shortcuts. But they wouldn't sell the business to the individual, even though the individual is the one who will be doing the work and benefiting from the new skill sets. They would sell the training to an HR department or company and sell the HR director and saying, hey, we're going to help your company be more efficient by teaching your employees Microsoft Office, tricks and trades and whatnot. So who was my customer in that situation? My customer might be a mid-sized or small-sized business. And the benefit that business got from me is efficiency in their employees. The benefit that I'm selling, that I'm highlighting, is how much they're going to be saving money because of the hours they're going to save from people doing things because they didn't know how to leverage and use Excel. But my customer was that company. The benefactor might be that company's employee that didn't have to pay for it. A lot of us have tried to get some training and let somebody else pay for it, right? A lot of us thought through that. I mean, I want to work for this company. They're going to send me through this training. And once I learn it, I can't unlearn. I got it now. And somebody else paid for it. Who is your customer? Is it an individual? Is it a company? It could be both, different reasons. But write it out. What's the problem that you're looking to solve? In a fictitious case of this training company, the problem they saw was many companies losing money due to inefficient employees. That's the real problem. What's the solution? Teach them shortcuts. The solution, making sure the companies can understand how much money they're losing because people are wasting time sitting at their computer, not knowing how to do something. Yet the company's still paying them that hour, the $20 an hour, and they're not being efficient. So the solution was this. What's your solution to a particular problem? The feasibility canvas allows you to write that out. It allows you to write down what you think the problems are. And some of us don't have to think through it. Some of us can just go ask. Ask our potential customers, what are you having a hard time finding? Vegetarian food? What are you having a hard time finding? Masks? What are you having a hard time getting? Right? Then think through the solutions. Find out other like companies, what solutions are they offering? How can you do something similar or change up that might be of value to a potential customer? Write that out in this canvas. The canvas is for you. It's for you to make the determination that once I get all this information filled in, do I have something? Do I have something to offer? Can I make money? Once the answer is yes, then I start working on my business plan. But a lot of people don't do this feasibility study first as they're exploring the idea of being an entrepreneur. What's the revenue that you want to bring in? Revenue is not profit. I might spend $1 on buying water and charge $10. I've got a case of water for $1 and sold it for $10. What's my revenue? Anybody tell me what the revenue is on that scenario? I spent $1 to buy a case of water and I sold that case of water for $10. Can somebody tell me what my revenue is?
Right?
Say it again.
$9, right?
$9? Anybody else got an answer?
Say it again, Stephen.
I have $1 that I spent on a case of water. Okay. I sold that case of water for $10. What's my revenue?
Oh, okay.
Anybody else want to try? I have one person said $9. Does anybody else want to give a shot at it? So the revenue is $10. The revenue, words matter. The revenue.
Because I was wondering why did he say profit, but I just left it alone.
There you go. Exactly. you knew. You just said, let me just let him answer the question. I think I know the answer, right? Right? Words matter. What is my profit? Can anybody give me that answer?
I figured the profit was $9.
The profit is $9. The word revenue is synonymous with sales. How much money did I make off of this sale? I made $10. How much revenue did I make off this sale? I made $10 off this sale. But I have to subtract the expense of that $1 from the sale, from the revenue to get my what? Profit. So I profited $9. I spent $1. I gained $9. I didn't gain 10. I gained 9. That's revenue. So in this feasibility canvas, how much revenue do you want to sell? Think about it. McDonald's, Burger King, all these restaurants, right? They have a menu. They got a shake, they got fries, they got, they got bundles, like your meal bundles. You want one, you want meal two, one, three, those are bundles. And you can sell them individual. They have a budget of how many hamburgers, or Chick-fil-A got how many Chick-fil-A sandwiches, or how many fries. They got a budget of how much revenue they want to sell every week on each one of those items. They have a revenue of how much they want to sell of every bundle of items, tea and all that. Otherwise, if they don't have a plan, they wouldn't know how much to order, how many chickens they need to order. Remember, Popeyes ran out of chicken. Everybody go to get Popeye sandwiches, and they ran out of chicken. Well, you can't get no more Popeye chicken for 3 months because we didn't know it was going to be, everybody's going to love it. Well, the reason why is they didn't expect the revenue to be so high. They didn't know that so many people would love it. They hoped. What is your revenue potential for the ideas, the services that you want to offer? What's your revenue that you want? Now, some of us who are offering a service, maybe there's an expense to your service. Maybe I have to, not only my time, because I'm not giving you a widget and you walking away with it, it might be my time, but I might also give you some paperwork. I had to go to Office Depot to buy paper because I had to write something on it, or I had to print something out. Oh, I had to print something out. What about the printing ink? I had to buy that. All those things are part of my service. What's the revenue? Well, what I'm selling it at is the revenue. Maybe my service for a massage is $50 for half an hour. But what I realized is I had to buy massage oil, I had to buy a massage table, I had to get this nice smelling incense going on, I had to go give me some incense, I had to play some music. All that stuff is a part of my expense. So when I look at the profit from that $50, I got to subtract my time, the part of that oil that I put on their back or whatever to get my real profit. But what at the first part is how much revenue in the massage business do I want to do? How many massages do I want to do a day? Multiply that times a week, 7 days a week or 5 days a week. Multiply that times how many weeks I'm going to work. That's my expected revenue that I'm going to put into this canvas. Who are my competition? Who is my perceived competition? If I'm a small massage business, maybe a part of my competition are chiropractors who do massages too when they adjusting people. Maybe my competition is people who are buying massage little equipment to massage their own selves. So those businesses out there that's offering that. Maybe my competition is physical therapy companies. Maybe my competition is other massage companies that are got their own brick and mortar. Maybe my competition is massage companies that are mobile. They come to you. Who is my competition based on my size? What advantages are customers going to realize through your services? I'm going to put that in my canvas. What is the message that I want to communicate on the benefit of using my services? I want to put that on my canvas that I think people will resonate with. What is the real benefit that people want to get from my massage business? They're going to feel better, feel like $1 million. What are the benefits of going through this Microsoft training? If applicable, how am I going to distribute my product or my services? If I'm going to massage person, am I going to actually just be there massaging them? Or I'm going to hire other people to do that. I'm going to send people out or have people come to me. If I'm going to be offering some type of training, Excel training, Microsoft training, am I coming to them? Am I doing it online? Because right now, what I'm doing, I'm distributing training, right? Online. How am I doing it? Am I in front of you? What's the mode or method that you get the services? Now, I mentioned what's the revenue you're expecting, but now what is the costs to me, the expenses that I need to consider in my feasibility study? If I'm a massage, I'm going to look at buying oil, maybe buying CDs that's playing nice music, calming music. Maybe I'm going to buy some, some nice incense because I want people to, to smell. I want the room to smell a certain way or what have you. Buy gloves because of COVID. I don't want to be touching people's skin now or whatever, right? Sanitizing items to sanitize the items that people are going to be laying down on. New, having to clean the dressing of the tables or whatever, clean up quite often, and washing things. All those are an expense that I can consider. If I'm going to be going out training folks, I got to look at my gas, wear and tear on my transportation. I got to look at my clothing. I might wear certain clothes. I have to get to certain places. I might have to, have, printouts of my business cards or putting together a curriculum, that's paper. All those are costs that I have to think through in the feasibility portion. What's my startup needs? Well, all the things that I need just to get the doors open, to get started. This business canvas helps you picture those things as you're considering exploring the idea of being an entrepreneur. So here's a potential, and some of you guys who may have been through my class again may have seen this story before, but I would like to bring it up because it helps you address how a paragraph can be articulated after one does a business canvas. So here it goes. And these are things that we would all need to know before we start our business. So in this example, this fictitious example, I'm going to read what this lady talked about before she started her business. She says, if you want to stand out when you walk in a room, make sure your purse and your shoes speak for you. The status symbol associated with this designer stilettos drove the luxury shoe market past a $6 billion mark in 2019. Behind the developing resurgence are working professionals, students, and homemakers who are investing $300 to $1,000 in luxury brand items. While the competitive field is expansive, there's room for new designs to carve niches based on the workmanship and emotional need that their brand fulfills. That paragraph talked about her research. She talked about what's going on in the shoe industry. She talked about how much money is being made in the shoe industry. She talked about who are buying shoes that makes up that statistic. She talked about how much money people are investing. She used the word investing instead of buying. They're investing in shoes. They're looking at the shoes as an investment. And they're spending between $300 and $1,000. And she talked about why they buy it. What are they valuing about that item? That they're new designers with niches, the quality, the workmanship. And she talked about they just have an emotional need for it. That is a driver, an incentive for them to spend that type of money. And because in her feasibility, she found all that information out, she did a business plan. So let's hear about her business. Casey Clayton launched I Got Your Style in 2020 with functional Art Deco leather high heels. Her contemporary designs showcase trends ranging from faux zebra extended heel to an Art Deco style boot with cutouts. With an average price revenue, with an average price of $450 per item, she soon realized sales, i.e. revenue, of $5,000 per month. It's not profit, right? It's revenue. $5,000 per month. Historically, the high-end price range of her products would limit her target market, limit her customer base to wealthy customers only. However, there's a trend among working professionals to invest in brands that make them dress for the job they want, not the job they have. There's an emotional need for them to dress for the job they want, not the job they have. So Casey Clayton based how much she's going to charge. She based what she would sell based on what people are buying from her feasibility study. She based how much she would sell the items based on the range of money that people are currently investing in such items. And what she realized, fortunate because she's an entrepreneur, she took a risk, but the risk paid off because she realized that she had revenue of $5,000 per month. Now, what this didn't say was how much profit. Did she make $100 profit after she made $5,000? Did she make $1,000 profit? That example of that part didn't come up. But the fact that she leveraged what she learned in her feasibility study to determine what she would use to get her excited about, yes, I got something. Yes, I should move forward. And the fact that she realized from the feasibility study that her customers were students, homemakers, working professionals. It wasn't simply just wealthy people that she felt comfortable moving forward. But all of this came out of her feasibility canvas. If you want to stand out, if you want to stand out when you walk in a room, make sure your shoes speak for you. Attention-grabbing statement, but it made sure that she knew for her customers that there's an emotional need for how you look. Your look says something. She put her paragraph together. She made sure that that was an attention-grabbing statement. The status symbol associated with designer stilettos drove the luxury shoe market past $6 billion mark. Where did she get that information from? Where are you going to get your information from? How much money is people buying? How much money is being made for items that you want to sell in your industry? For the services that you want to sell? How are you going to find that information out? Once you find it out, are you going to get excited about the number? Or is the number going to make you go a different way because you felt it should have been higher? Behind the developing resurgence are working professionals, students, and homemakers who are investing $300 to $1,000 in luxury brand items. She introduced us to the target market. Who are buying products and why? How much are they spending? Who are the people that are buying your products? How much are they spending? Why? It says, while the competitive field is expansive, there's room for new designers to carve niches based on the workmanship and emotional need that their brand fulfills. That introduces the opportunity. There's an opportunity. People want something and they want it in a certain way. They value something. Everybody's going to wear shoes, but people right now are buying shoes that have great workmanship, that's quality. They're buying shoes that are niche based. They're different. They have cutouts and they fold and they got zebra prints and things like that. They're buying it because it fulfills an emotional need. These are opportunities that the potential entrepreneur is looking at. Is that a real opportunity that I can leverage? COVID-19 has brought a lot of opportunity that people want to leverage. We're leveraging it right now. I don't have to have all you guys in a classroom that I got to rent out. I can do it from the confines of my office in my home. That's a leveraging the opportunity. They're leveraging this opportunity. What opportunity are you leveraging? What opportunity have you thought through that somebody will value? And how much would they invest in that opportunity that they value? Casey Clayton launched I Got Your Style in 2020 with functional Art Deco leather high heels. Again, it states the founding year and the product that you might want to sell the service. Her contemporary design showcased trends ranging from faux zebra extended heels to an Art Deco style boot with cutouts. This talks about the opportunity they're leveraging, the workmanship, that the fact that there is a niche. It's differentiating themselves from what's already out there, other shoes. With an average price of $450 per item, she soon realized sales of $5,000 per month. Historically, the high-end price of her products would limit her target market to wealthy consumers. Because of the feasibility study, she was able to come out with her price range based on her cost structure, on where she's getting her items from, who she's buying it from, how's it getting to her. She got to pay for delivery and things like that. But if it wasn't for the feasibility study, what was she going to come up with these numbers? Just going to get them out of a cloud? How are you getting your numbers, your sales figures? However, there's a trend among working professionals to invest in brands that make them dress for the job they want, not the one they have. It just restates the target audience and the market demand, why they are buying these items. So if you're going to do a business canvas, you should be able to take your information that you have in that canvas and produce a paragraph for yourself on why am I doing this before you do your business plan. Any questions on the business canvas? Any questions on why that's important? Any comments on whether or not this is an aha moment for you on how valuable a business canvas might be as you explore the idea of being an entrepreneur before I move forward? Any questions, any comments? Okay. So I'm gonna move forward. Roles of a business owner, entrepreneur. Just some of the roles that we all know, or maybe not thought through. But you are the tax collector. Even though you might have somebody paying your, doing your taxes for you. In many cases, you have, when you selling your product, you have to consider what the taxes that you might have to charge your your customers. You're the manager of that business. Although you might hire someone to manage certain areas, you are responsible as the head of your business. You are responsible for sales. You might hire a salesperson, but ultimately, you are the person responsible for sales. You are the accountant. Accountant is different than a tax collector. Accountant says how much money have we collected and how much expenses we have sent out. Who do we need to pay? You are the accountant. You might hire an accountant, but you are the responsible party. As far as legally, you're the responsible party. You are the lawyer for your business. You've all heard the fact that if you go to court for some reason, you can represent yourself, but they advise that you get a lawyer that's been trained, a trained lawyer, right? Because there's some legalese, there's a paperwork, there may be an misunderstanding of certain things, protocols. So they say you should hire a certified, credentialed lawyer, but no one's going to stop you from representing yourself. You are the lawyer for your company. That is your role. So when you talk about risk management, things that you put in place, you go to some restaurants right now, before you walk in, you're going to see a sign on the door saying, you come in here, you're taking a risk of getting COVID-19. Why? Because them as their own lawyer saying, I need to make sure that we tell people that this can be a, you can fall or you can get something in here. We want to make sure that we're reducing our risk because those people are their own lawyer. They're responsible. I might have a lawyer represent me, but I might be the one going to jail, not my lawyer that I'm paying. You are the business planner. I'm a hire business planner, but I'm responsible for the plans that I end up signing off on. You're the bill collector. You know, in most cases, we're going to have bills. The bills might be, you know, I got to buy toner. I order toner for my copier, my printer. I got to send a check out. All right, I got lights and, you know, I might have to buy gas for the car if I'm leaving. Those are bills. Chop up to the business. I got to collect the bills. I got to pay the bills. But as a bill collector, people owe me. They owe me. So I got to collect bills that are due to me. You got accounts receivables, accounts payables. Bill collector talking about accounts receivables. I got to receive the money. So if I come in and do some training, at some point, if I don't get paid prior to or at the date time I'm doing the training, I'm gonna send a bill. I got to collect that money. Right? You have bill collectors call you. Hey, have you paid this bill yet? Yeah, they may have hired a bill collector, but whoever owned that company that's their role. That's their responsibility. Market researcher, you're responsible for that as well. You might hire someone to do market research for you, but you're responsible for knowing and understanding what the market is bearing. So you can decide how you want to run your business. You're the technology expert, or you're responsible for that role. IT, online issues, how people, you know, ways they can buy your services using technology. It's your role. Clerk, secretary, janitor, window washer, all of that is our responsibility. If we have enough income coming in, we have enough revenue coming in, we might have somebody do these roles and we got to pay, but that's going to become a cost. That's going to become an expense. So how much of our revenue that's coming in that we want to take out of for any of these expenses? Because then it's going to leave us with a profit. So the more that we have to charge or pay others to do these, the less our profit is going to be, right? So as a feasibility study, we have to make these considerations. Some things I don't do well, it's worth me hiring somebody to do it. Some things I can do on my own. I just don't want to be, you know, unless I want to be lazy and hire somebody else to do it. I might just have to do it. And it goes all the way back to that first slide that talks about some people, you know, I'm going to do a whole lot right now to become an entrepreneur. So later on, I don't have to do anything. These are the sacrifices. So what do you need to be an entrepreneur? A lot of cases I mentioned earlier before, passion. We all saw and heard, for those that was on the line while Alicia was talking about the things that she do. She do it for the formerly incarcerated. She do it for nonprofits. She do it for anybody, but she has a passion for certain demographics. You can hear it. What do you got to have? What do you have a passion for? What type of customers do you have a passion to support? Because ultimately, it's not just about the services that we're offering and the products that we're giving. It's a reason why we decide to get into or have an interest in certain areas. I think Jada was talking about supporting students. She got a full ride. She had to do a lot of research to figure out scholarships, internal scholarships and whatnot. And now she wants to start a business providing information to students easily for them to easily get to apply for scholarships. She has a passion for it. Where did it come from? It probably came from her having to suffer through finding all this stuff on her own and don't want anyone to have to go through all that she went through. She saw, aha, I got an opportunity. Aha. I would pay for people to just hand this thing to me and I can just apply. Me applying doesn't mean I want to get it, but I don't apply, I won't get it. If I don't know about it, I won't apply and I won't get it. The scholarship. So I want to help people. What's your passion? Who do you want to help and why? Do you have a passion for it? Because as an entrepreneur, real entrepreneur, you're going to have that passion. You're going to be persistent. You're going to have that energy every day because your customers are watching you and they're being impressed by you. They want to tell other people about this business because of you. You are the business. So we need to make sure we have good health and energy. A good entrepreneur is going to be creative, innovative, or they're going to have those types of people around them to help build that business. What it takes to be an entrepreneur: independence, self-reliance. Because you can't sit back and blame anybody for not building your business. We have to be independent minded, even though we're smart enough to get smarter people around us that are smarter than us to help give us ideas and information and support. We still got to be self-reliant, have that mindset. You don't have to do it by yourself to be an independent minded person, to make sure that it gets done. Intuition. We have to be able to listen to our intuition. Because even though something smells like a rose, it may not be a rose. So we have to be smart enough to let our intuition, our gut feeling, influence us on decisions that we may have to make. Self-confidence, go toward that self-reliance and independence. Some people are not as self-confident. They have an idea, but they're kind of hesitant. We have to learn to be more self-confident. And the more feasibility study that you get, the more evidence of the opportunity that presents itself, the more confident you are in moving in that direction. The feasibility study gives you that confidence, or gives you the confidence to say, you know what? COVID-19 tells me this is not the right time to start this. My intuition, and I lack confidence now because of the current environment on that idea. Let me look at some other things that I have interesting. Your market awareness. Am I aware of what's going on in this market? The ability to accept challenges. In order to be an entrepreneur, we're going to have to accept challenges and we have to accept risks. It's not supposed to be easy. All of us are going to have testimonies of ups and challenges. Why? Because we have to incentivize and help others knowing that they're going to be able to overcome. And we have to have that hard work ethics and integrity about ourselves. Some additional things that we can assess our characteristics based on perhaps what we've gone through in our working or being in school or what have you is our management experience. Have I had to manage people, processes, or things, or even how am I managing myself, my own schedules and things like that? We know who we are and how we are. What's our ability to handle stress? That's a characteristic because there's going to be some stress. There's good stress and there's bad stress. We need to make sure that we can understand how to make any type of stress a good stress. What is it telling me? Sometimes stress, light a fire under your butt and okay, I got to get some things done. I'm procrastinating too much. How do we deal with stress? We can be the most positive person in the world and have the worst blood pressure. And it may not necessarily just be hereditary. It's how we internalize stress. So we have to be able to handle stress when you're running a business, starting a business. I mentioned again, energy and perseverance level have to be high. We have to know we have to have high energy in an area. And if you have passion for something, it's a no-brainer. You're going to have energy behind it. We have to understand that at some point we may have to sacrifice to the point where we're living under a lower standard than we normally. I can't go out to eat as much because I need to use that money for perhaps expenses to start my business for a while. At some point, so I can live like other people can. And again, the propensity to accept risk, that got to be a part of our characteristic. That there is inherent risk in putting forth your time toward an entrepreneur venture. So, what are the soft skills that I need? Besides the hard skills of learning how to run my business and the things that I need to learn, if I'm going to be a massage therapist, I need to go to school and learn to do that. Those are I call hard skills. Those are your skill sets, right? Technical skills. But what are the soft skills that I have to understand? Again, your willingness to sacrifice. My ability to communicate. I have to communicate, whether it be online, verbally, face to face, on the phone, with customers. What is my interpersonal skill sets? I might have to deal with contractors or support people. How do I talk to them? All of us on this line have dealt with people, whether it be family, friends, foe, co-workers, fellow students that had bad interpersonal skills. We may not like being around them. We didn't want to deal with them. They didn't care or whatever. Well, people are assessing your interpersonal skills when you're dealing with them too. Are they going to like what they see? Are they going to be wanting to work with you and buy your products or come and serve or refer people to you? These are soft skills that we have to be aware of. And if we don't, we naturally may not like talking. We may be, just naturally we have good ideas, but we don't really want to be around people. Well, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, in some cases, we may have to learn how to build those skills. It's okay to learn how to build your interpersonal skill sets, build your leadership skills, build your organizational skills. These are soft skill sets, but we can learn how to make them better than what they currently are. We have to be street smart, use some common sense, which is nothing is common, right? Because when we're in business, people are going to try to get over. Everybody wants some type of discount, or they want to say that this product is not working the way it should, and they want their money back. How are we going to use our street smarts and our common sense on how we deal with our customers and how we deal with each other? Our management abilities. There's some soft skills in how we manage people, how we manage contractors, how we manage relationships and people we got to get things from. How are we going to leverage our business experience, our overall business experience that we may have? Or do I need to get more before I can kick this business off? I know my wife had at one point wanted to start she's a nurse, been a nurse for 30 years, and she at one point wanted to start a business selling scrubs. But beyond her buying scrubs for herself, she didn't know what other people like. So she went and got a job working inside a retail outlet that sold scrubs. She wanted to find out what are people buying that's different than what she buys, her interests. She wanted to find out how much they normally, cost in terms of the store buying it from another resource and how much they are marking it up. She wanted to look at how people are relating with one another. She wanted to find all that in order for her to determine whether or not she wanted to run this business. What are you doing? What type of research are you doing on your business? Building those skill sets up. And the last soft skill that's noted here is optimism. Every venture that you're going to get involved in, you probably had a passion. Your idea was flowing and sparks was in your head and you was excited about who you're going to help. We have to maintain that optimism. Even though it's challenging putting it together sometimes, the optimism is needed. It's not just wanted, it's needed as we move forward. So the last few slides are just going to talk about, first of all, anybody have any questions on that before I get into talking about starting a business during a pandemic? We've got about 20 minutes left.
No questions.
No.
For me.
Go ahead.
No question.
No questions? Okay. All right.
I will ask real quick. At what point do you say, hey, you know what, this doesn't work out, let me just walk away from this?
At what point?
Yeah, when you're assessing, right? Do you just figure, this may not work for me? Or, because I did hear you say, this may not work right now. At what point is it like, this just may not be feasible, period?
And there is no set point. People got to realize, if I assess the how much time that I need to put into this, more time, and I got other things that's going on in my life. Maybe I'm a new father, a new mother. Maybe we have children that that need our attention. Maybe I have work. I'm trying to work a job and I'm trying to start this business, and Cal gonna pull me away. I'm getting stressed. Maybe I got some health concerns. There's a lot of different variables that we have to consider on whether or not we're going to stop moving forward on a business venture, or are we're going to press on, right? And that press on is finding a way. If I'm really supposed to do this, and it's not about the money, if I'm really supposed to provide this service to people that need me, they're waiting on me. They're not just waiting on the product, they're waiting on how I deliver it, because I know they need it, because I wish I had it, right? There's people out there, there's children out there that need Jada right now. But she's not ready to give them the offering that she has an idea to give. So they may miss out. Well, who's coming after them? They need Jada. Jada knows it. But Jada is being pushed. She got classes she got to do, and she got maybe some health concerns, or her parents, or this delaying her rolling out the way she needs to roll it out. Is she going to press on with it? Is she going to overcome those challenges? At what point does she say, you know what, this is harming me more than helping me? I gotta put a pause here. That's for everybody to determine. And doing the feasibility study helps you determine, I'm in a good space to keep going? Do I need to get some additional resources in here to help me before I launch this thing? Or do I need to wait because it's going to harm me more? And if I try to put it out when it's not really ready, the customers that I really want to support are not going to get the type of support that my idea was for them to receive. I might hurt them, or I might hurt my reputation. I might come out thinking I'm smelling like a rose, and I'm not. I'm not meeting my deadlines. People are saying bad things about me, about my service, and that's not what I want them to say about me. How can I now rehabilitate my reputation? Why? Because I came out quicker than I needed to, because I chose not to wait. So that's a great question to ask. And there is no one answer. The answer is everyone has to do their own assessment. And people who fail to do a feasibility study, they really fail to know whether or not they should stop or start. So hopefully that helps your thinking on that question.
Thank you.
Any other questions? We're moving on pretty good. Okay, so starting a business during a pandemic. What does customers need right now? So some of you all have business ideas. You may have had them before the pandemic. You may have come up with ideas since the pandemic. Your idea may not have been relevant toward whether or not the pandemic will help or hurt it. But what I'm here to tell you right now is every company is shifting their thinking on how they're going to manage their customers' offerings and how they're going to offer it to their customers. Not only managing what they're going to give, but how they give it, how they reduce their propensity of being sued. Because I went into this Chinese restaurant, and all of a sudden Trump is talking about the China flu, and now I got this COVID-19, and that Chinese restaurant gave it to me, when you really got it in the Irish restaurant, when you really received it at your birthday party at home or somebody's house. So as a restaurant, or as some type of place where people have to come in, I have to reduce my risk of people suing me, because people can sue me. They have a right to sue me for anything, but that doesn't mean they're going to be successful. The right to sue doesn't mean they have the fact that they're going to be successful in it. But what they have forced me to do is lawyer up to fight something that I shouldn't be having to fight, to pay for things I shouldn't have to pay for. And how many times am I going to have to fight this before I go out of business? Because every day I'm getting a new lawsuit from 5 or 6 people. And my lawyer, now I got to pay that person for every single lawsuit filed against me. All of a sudden, it's better to close the business down to fight the lawsuit. Challenges. So we have to understand why businesses are trying to deal with how they're going to provide an offering and how they're going to offer it in the era of COVID. you will have to think through that too, no matter what your offering is. As a fraternity that's sponsoring this particular session, we did this session last year and we did it in person. Well, we got some highlights to say, hey, as a fraternity, if you're giving it for free or you're charging, here are the guidelines. Otherwise, we are going to shut it down or don't use our name. Everyone has to think through how you're offering services. It has to be a part of your feasibility study. Consumer habits have significantly shifted. So we have to consider how, again, we're offering that fit their current lifestyle now. Because a lot of people are sitting at home. They're sitting at home on their couch, on their chair, their back. I'm sitting in my office right now in the chair. My back, I got a thing on my back, so my back don't hurt. Why? Because I didn't have to sit in the chair all the time. So now I'm looking for exercise equipment. Well, I'm not looking for, my wife is, and she got a bunch of it in the garage now. But that's a new lifestyle. That's a new expense for us, but that's a new sale for somebody else. Carlton, was that you who sold us this new treadmill? Was it you, Chris? Was it you, Jada? Because if you saw a new opportunity in the fitness equipment era, that everybody's now buying fitness equipment they normally wouldn't, because they don't want to go get COVID-19 in their gyms. It's a new lifestyle. What lifestyle are you seeing in your potential customers that you can leverage? As an example, there's one company that I found on the internet when I did some research for this session. There's a company called Pumpkin Pet Insurance. And they decided to leverage those families that might be, wealthy families that have extra money. They're not families that may not necessarily be financially hit so hard through the pandemic, and they love their pets. I mean, they bury their pets and they leave money to their pets and all this stuff, right? They say, hey, we got pet insurance because they don't want their pets to get COVID-19, right? So they came up with the best treat is a healthy lifestyle. Get pet insurance. Pay us. If your pet get a cold, get a flu, get COVID-19, send them to the vet and it's already covered. And they're booming. So all of a sudden, all these pet insurance companies, I never even heard of it. Well, I got a pet. I love my dog, but I don't think it was highlighted. We were going to go, me and my family were going to go somewhere next week, and was going to board my dog, and they said, well, we now require you to get a flu shot for the dog to board here. They don't want the dogs to get it and give it to other dogs, get flu or COVID-19 or whatever. Hey, you don't have to get a flu shot. It's not going to happen. But because of COVID-19, these veterinarians are saying, you're going to understand. You're not going to fight back when I say you now is mandatory that we give your pet a flu shot. I'm not saying a COVID shot. I'm not saying a vaccination shot, a flu shot. But they're leveraging this environment. So we have to navigate this new normal as a potential business owner, or as a business owner. What impact does the limitations or restrictions due to operating virtually, operating at a distance from each other inside of a building, operating that you have to environmentally sanitize the atmosphere continually? What are the restrictions are going to place on us, on our finances, on our potential profits, that we now got to buy a lot more sanitation stuff? How will investment and loan considerations be made based on the viability of our business on how we operate? Meaning, if I need to go get a loan from Bank of America to start my business, are they going to ask me what it's going to be, how you're going to run your business in the era of COVID? Before we give you a loan, we got to make sure that you're not going to go bankrupt on us because you're not sanitizing your restaurant as frequently as you should. How much money are you putting toward sanitation items? How many employees do you have? How often are you going to clean the tables? We have to think through those. Banks, investors are thinking through those. They have new questions for people who want their support. Transition from in-person to, to what? What we're going to transition to, we're starting a business or we're running our business. How can businesses leverage the new normal for your good to gain customers? Because you're saying, hey, we sanitize, every 5 minutes we sanitize. So come in here, you can trust us. Okay, I'm coming to the restaurant. I'm not going to the other restaurant. I still see some mud on the ground. They should sanitize the floor too, right? But this one over here, they mopping. I see them mopping. I see them always moving around. They're building my trust. I'm going to go to there. What are you doing to build trust and confidence in this new normal? And how you operate your sustainability strategies. We have to adapt. We have, our businesses have all, and by the way, I might run a little bit over 12 because we got started late. So if anybody need to leave, you can fall off, I understand. But we've always adapted, and we have to adapt to COVID-19. So across various industries and companies have had to adapt their operations to comply with social distancing protocol. We know that. How are you going to adapt? Such conditions have made it difficult for existing businesses to survive and more difficult for new ones to start. Lenders and investors are looking at things. They don't want to lose any money. So how are you in your feasibility study, how are you going to show that you can be a sustainable business? What are your challenges and how you're going to overcome them? Adapting to a new normal triggers and can trigger a unique window of opportunity for exciting new brands and services and savings in your business. Now I don't have to have a large brick and mortar that I'm paying all this rent. So now I'm saving all that money because people are adapting to shopping online or what have you. So now I'm actually saving money. I'm leveraging for my good. I can actually pay my loan off quicker because I'm not using it for rent and lights and gas and security at this brick and mortar that I had. And now I'm running my business from my office and I'm actually making more money. How are we adapting our thinking to a positive way? In 2008, we had an economic recession. That's when Obama was in office, and it spurred what they call a gig on alternative economy. So many people were losing their jobs and losing their homes or whatever. They had to do something. So they started renting out their home, staying with friends. Airbnb became a thing. People started having their own little side businesses, and they wanted a quick way to get people money because they didn't want to use checks and people didn't have cash. So Square, Venmo, those people came up with a great idea on how they can help all these gig contractors and gig business owners, how they can quickly get their money. And we're only going to take a small transaction fee, but at least you have your money. Taxis were couldn't, it wasn't enough taxis, or they were going down. They wasn't, there's a better way. People couldn't afford taxis, so Uber came up. We're not going to charge you $1 a mile. We charge you, 3 cents a mile. All of a sudden, people needed a way to make money. People find a way. So these are some of the companies that started because of the current environment of their time. So in COVID-19, there's a lot of companies that are doing great. Cleaning services, delivery services are racking it up. My daughter got tired of asking me for money and me challenging her on why you need it. So she started working for Grubhub. Okay, I get my own money, Daddy. I got a car, I go out, I'll go deliver. All right, well, mask up. Get your own money. Stop asking me for my money, right? All right. But delivery services, they're doing well. Fitness equipment and online fitness classes, all of a sudden are doing well. Landscaping businesses, home improvement services. People at home now, they're seeing things that they need to improve in their home. Mask makers, People doing their own haircuts and they doing their own beauty styles now. Telehealth services. People can't go to the doctors. They don't want to get virus, so telehealth services coming to people's homes. Pet services, pet adoption, grooming, people walking and sitting for dogs, animals. These are the type of businesses that are thriving. Are any of those businesses something that you're looking to do? Online businesses, online shopping services, retail outlets, Zoom classes for pay and not pay. I'm working with one of my my godbrother, gospel singer Fred Hammond, him and his brothers. I'm working with them right now on doing film projects online, concerts online. So there's a lot of things, driving businesses to behave differently. Online concerts, online movies, online education. Look at what we're doing right now. Traditional class inside of a classroom. There are a lot of folks who are doing online professional consultations. So I'm going to show this quick video. It's talking about the money. I think this is the last slide. So 2 more slides. And this is going to talk about how do you find the money, whether you're in a pandemic or not? Because a lot of times people talk about, yeah, I want to start a business, but he never even talked about the money. Where am I going to get the money for my business? So let me do a new share. And I hope you all can hear this. One person tell me if you can hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Most young companies need money, which may or may not come as a big surprise, but they do. The number one source they get money from is from their own savings. Whether it's a few $100s or even thousands of dollars, that's what we tend to tap first. And a lot of companies don't get money from any other place. They get money from their own savings, and then after that, they're lucky enough to be cash flow positive. They're profitable. So we talk a lot as if all companies require all sorts of external capital, and the reality is that more than half of young companies get all their funding from a combination of founder savings and then cash flow from the business, and we're out of here. Next up on the list is another one that catches, I think, people by surprise, and that's credit cards. Almost every young company you can think of, to one degree or another, was funded on credit cards. And it is the single largest source of capital for young companies after founder savings. And then the next place where they tend to get money is from friends and family. After I've tapped out my credit card and I've used up all my savings, I turn to people I know and say, hey, will you help me? And that's the third biggest source of capital. And then the next place is banks. And the banks are a totally weird situation because with banks, they get a lot of attention, but they actually fund very, very few young companies. But it's not their fault. You have to think about the way bank lending works and how shareholders want banks to lend. They want them to lend money against secured assets. And young companies don't have any secured. They have nothing to secure it against. And the joke in the industry is you can get all the bank funding you want as a startup as long as you don't need it. And then the last piece is venture capitalists. They get the lion's share of the attention, which in some ways is warranted. Your Googles and Apples and FedExes and many others all have venture capital money inside of them. But the reality is, and this is from Kaufman Research, less than 20% of the fastest growing companies in the United States took any venture money. And that's not because the VCs wouldn't give it to them. It's because they didn't want it or didn't need it, because they had all those other sources. I don't need money, and I certainly don't need money on these terms. Because venture capitalists, unlike banks, they don't lend against secured assets. They give you money in exchange for shares. So they take some of your company away. So my answer is if you don't need it, definitely don't get it. There's no question the venture industry has become staid. The irony is it's intended to fund disruption, and yet it's an industry that had become complacent. And interestingly, over the last 5 or 6 years, we've seen the emergence of other mechanisms for funding, like AngelList, like these kinds of peer-to-peer funding sources. As people increasingly provide capital in smaller amounts, but more people doing it, directly. Having said all of that, though, venture capitalists are hugely important for those young companies that don't have access to bank money, but are growth companies. They have the prospect of being a $5 million or a $10 million company in a couple of years, and they need that growth capital to get there quickly. So it's a race. And the way you play the race is by getting money from people like venture capitalists who give you the money so you can compete with other people who are racing as fast as you are. If you can run a company off cash flow and some combination of credit card, your own savings, and friends and family, Bob's your uncle. Run. Keep all the equity because there's no better thing than being in full control of your own destiny. Your own savings and friends and family.
One more time.
Bob's your uncle. Run. Keep all the equity. You can compete with other people who are racing as fast as you are. If you can run a company off cash flow and some combination of credit card, your own savings, and friends and family, Bob's your uncle. Run. Keep all the equity because there's no better thing than being in full control of your own destiny.
Be in full control of your own destiny. So essentially what they're saying is, we'll go back here. Essentially what they're saying is that banks very rarely, let me do this thing real quick.
I'm Gary Schoniger. I'm the founder of the Entrepreneurial Learning Initiative. We're the creators of the Ice House program. We all know that
Go back to share. All right, so they're saying if you have cash flow, you have savings, you have cash from friends and family, crowdsource, that's going to be the better way of going because a lot of banks do not finance small businesses or micro businesses. So just be mindful of that. So in the age of COVID, again, these are the questions that you're going to answer for yourself in your feasibility canvas, business canvas. What do I need? How much money do I need? What strategies am I going to employ to get funded by investors or receive infusion of cash from banking lenders? What questions might they ask me relative to how I'm going to operate in COVID that might support their decision of supporting me? And who will pay for certain products and services? Why will they buy from us? So they're going to ask me questions. Who's going to pay for my products and services in the era of COVID? And why your services and how they're going to do it before they end up lending you money. So be prepared to answer those types of questions. Okay. But again, I wanted you to see that video because, and by the way, it is 12, so we're about wrapping it up. Because I want you all to see that most people do not necessarily get funded through banks. And there are also a lot of folks don't get funded through venture capitalists unless they think they're going to make millions and millions of dollars. There are angel investors out there, and the angel investors are anybody. You don't have to be a millionaire to be an angel investor. But there are people who want to not only support your venture because they have interest in your area, your industry, but they think that you have something. They think that they can make money off of you at some point. And they may want some of that equity. Keep all the equity if you can do it yourself. So some of the key takeaways that we have here is uncover your passion. Discover your passion. Determine what is your goal. Are you looking to supplement your income? Are you looking to supplant your income, equal your income? What is your personal goals? What are your retirement goals? Why are you doing this? Embrace the various roles of a business owner because they're all your responsibility. So let's embrace it. Let's learn what can make us better at what we do, and let's embrace what we're really already good at and implement it. Let's leverage our tags, our talents, our abilities, our gifts, and our skill sets, and mitigate our weaknesses by learning. Let's hire those people that we can afford to hire to make our business grow, and let's learn to do things that we can do on our own. Make sure that we leverage the fundamentals of conducting a feasibility study to give us excitement to move forward in our business idea, or to stop us in our track from doing something that's not going to go anywhere and going to make us lose time and energy, money. Use the Business Feasibility Canvas to help you tell your story. Thank you all for joining us. I hope you have learned something. I hope this is something that you can tell others that they should be at, or because we're going to do this again. Any questions?
No, this was great. Thanks, Steve. And I do apologize that I was late, but this was great information for the part that I was able to be here for. So I look forward to more trainings with you.
You're so welcome, Deborah. And I'm glad you were able to make it. I know you were a little bit late, but what I told others that came in before you came in is that this is being recorded.
Okay.
And so that I can certainly send you a link so you can review
All right.
it. Okay.
That
But
sounds
thank you
great.
for joining us.
And I dropped in the chat about a financial literacy workshop that my organization is having next Thursday on the 8th. Tiffany is going to present that.
Okay.
And considering it's financial literacy, even though most of it is focusing on helping people who are formerly incarcerated manage their budget when they come in, because we're in a lot of debt when we get home. Part of it is also going to focus on how to use financial literacy to pull yourself out of a financial bind. And we're going to be speaking, some of that piece will be on entrepreneurship. So I did drop the link and everything in the chat. So hopefully you all can register and join.
So yeah, if anybody see that, you can copy that, paste that into your Word document or something like that, so you can have that information. And I'll definitely promote it for you too, as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? So I want to end this by saying that there are multiple organizations that I am connected to that can help you learn more about what you might want to do as an entrepreneur. I myself do support entrepreneurship training and development. So if you're interested in me connecting you to organizations that you can be a part of, if you're interested in maybe me consulting with you as well, if you're interested in Alicia in her business services, we all do something different. We all do have some overlap things. Please send me an email. I'll connect you. If you are, want us to contact you, just drop it into the text chat, and I'll also contact you. Beyond that, again, thank you all for giving us some of your day. And I'll see you next time. I'll always connect with you guys, let you guys know what I'm doing this particular class again, or any other type of class, because we do have another one coming up at the end of April. All right.
Thank you.
Have a great Good Friday.
Thanks,
Take care.
Steve.
Thank you.
Good to see you,
Welcome.
Alicia. Oh, she's gone. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Great job, Steve. All
All
right.
right. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it.